My name is Carrie Clinard. I'm 32 years old, the older child, the quiet one, the reliable one, which, in my family, basically means I'm the person you can ignore until you need a ride, a login, or a signature. I work in IT for a small hospital. I fix printers. I reset passwords. I'm the one who plugs in cables no one else wants to crawl under the desk for. I bring cupcakes to birthdays because someone has to, and apparently that someone is always me. I live alone in a rented one-bedroom that smells like coffee even after I've washed the mugs. I have a small savings account I'm irrationally proud of. I run 3 times a week in cheap shoes that squeak. If you ask my mom about me, she'd say, Carrie is steady. If you ask my sister Lena, she's 29, she'd say, Carrie's fine, and then change the subject back to herself. If you asked me, I'd say I've spent most of my life taking the background role. I didn't start that way. When we were kids, I was loud. I played trumpet. I tried out for everything. I used to think if I was bright enough, they'd have to notice me. Somewhere around middle school, I did the math. I learned what worked. I made myself small so my mom wouldn't worry, my dad wouldn't sigh, and Lena could shine. Lena was sunshine. At least that's how everyone described her. She had the laugh that got her an extra scoop of ice cream. She could miss curfew by 2 hours and still get, just be more careful next time. While I got a curfew and no one bothered checking because I never broke it anyway. We grew up in a house where holidays were performance art. Perfect stockings, matching pajamas if mom could afford them that year. We make memories, she'd say, which usually translated to, we can't afford this, but we're going to pretend we can. She loved pretending. It made her eyes bright. It made my dad quiet, which she mistook for contentment. I think he was calculating mortgage interest in his head. I watched him do math like some people watch TV. Bills, hours of overtime, cents per gallon. I became good at the background chores that kept the show running. I wrapped gifts with sharp corners. I learned how to fix burnt gravy. I labeled the boxes in the garage like a second attic. I knew where every extension cord in that house lived. Lena liked to enter rooms at the last minute and make the joke that made everyone laugh. She isn't cruel. She's charming. In our family, that's basically the same thing. I'm telling you all this so the next part makes sense. On Christmas morning, our living room looked like a catalog that had survived a small storm of tinsel. We'd already done the whole performance the night before. Carols off key, hot cocoa from powdered mix, the sacred one present at midnight rule. I slept on the couch because my old bedroom is now Mom's craft room, which is really just a closet with glitter and gilt. I woke up to the sound of Mom humming and the TV replaying that fake fireplace loop. The room smelled like cinnamon candles and stress. Dad sat in his recliner with a mug, staring at nothing. Lena scrolled on her phone, accidentally letting her new bracelet clink against the coffee table so everyone had to notice. We gathered. We smiled. We handed each other packages with names spelled half right in Mom's rushed handwriting. Lena nudged me like we were still kids. Ready? She whispered, eyes bright with the kind of excitement you only have when you know the spotlight is yours. I looked at the pile under the tree. Then again. Boxes in red and gold. Bags with tissue paper exploding out like fireworks. I counted the tags without meaning to. None of them said Carrie. Maybe mine's hidden, I thought. Maybe it's behind the tree. Maybe it's some big emotional reveal they're saving for later, like in those commercials Mom cries over. I cleared my throat, trying to keep it light, my voice as small as possible. Is there a gift for me? Mom didn't even look up from the ribbon she was curling. We don't buy things for ungrateful people, she said, like she was reading it off a calendar with inspirational quotes. The words hit harder because they were smooth, practiced. Not a slip, a line. Lena laughed, not even pausing her scrolling. Guess Santa skipped you on purpose this year, sis. My face went hot. My hands did that thing where they suddenly look too empty, like I should be holding something and the whole room can see that I'm not. I nodded, swallowing whatever answer tried to crawl up my throat. Got it, I murmured, standing up before my eyes betrayed me. No one stopped me. No one asked where I was going. I grabbed my coat from the back of a dining chair and stepped outside into air so cold it stung the inside of my nose. The neighborhood was quiet. Everyone else was inside, tearing paper and pretending their lives matched the postcards. I stood on the front walk until the noise in my head calmed down, until my heart stopped hammering against my ribs like it was trying to escape. Ungrateful. That's what Mom had called me. For what? For the years I'd co-signed, lent, paid, fixed, patched, and pretended? I walked down the block and back, my boots crunching on old frozen snow. When I finally went inside, the living room looked like a crime scene of wrapping paper. No one looked up. That night, alone in my apartment, I lay on my secondhand couch and stared at the ceiling. There's this old swirl pattern up there. I counted the little dents in the plaster. 73. Then I started over. I couldn't stop replaying Mom's line, the way Lena's laugh floated behind it, the way Dad said nothing at all. By the time I fell asleep, something small and quiet in me had shifted. Not broken, just moved. The next day, I was still in pajamas, faded joggers, and an oversized t-shirt, when someone knocked on my apartment door. Sharp, urgent knocking. 3 beats. Pause. 3 more. I checked the peephole. Lena. Her mascara was smudged, eyes red, shoulders hunched in a way that would have had Mom clutching her to her chest. I opened the door a fraction. She didn't say hello. No. Can we talk? No. About yesterday. I need $80,000 to save my business, she blurted, like she was ordering off a menu. I stared at her. For a second, I honestly thought I'd misheard. 80,000. I smiled. Not because it was funny, but because something in my brain finally clicked into place, like a puzzle piece I'd been turning the wrong way for years. Write to Santa, I said. She flinched, confusion flashing across her face. Then she tried to twist it into a laugh. Okay, haha. Very cute. I'm serious, Carrie. I'm in deep. I need help. Of course she did. My family has a script. I've known it so long I could recite it in my sleep. Act 1. Lena tries something big. Dad says, be practical. Mom says, dream big, baby. I say nothing, because I know I'll be asked to fix whatever breaks, and you can't fix something you've just criticized. Act 2. It goes badly. Money is short. A bill arrives with red letters. Mom says, we'll figure it out. Dad says, we already figured it out 10 times. I say, I can help. That's my only line. Act 3. I help. I move money. I save $10 at a time. I skip a dental cleaning. I work on Saturday. I bring over groceries. I click pay now on someone else's login. The music swells. We pretend nothing happened. Credits roll. Next season starts. Standing there in my doorway with Lena's eyes locked on mine, I realized I'd been cast in this role for years without ever auditioning. This time, I wasn't sure I wanted the part. I opened the door wider so she could step inside, but something in me stayed exactly where it was, behind a line I hadn't drawn yet but could suddenly see. Carrie, she said, voice wobbling, this is serious. If I don't cover January, I'm done. Everything I've built? Gone. $80,000. For her latest consulting venture that changed definitions every time I asked. I thought of my squeaky running shoes, my tiny savings account, the retirement plan I'd finally started contributing to. The Christmas morning without my name on a single tag. For once, I didn't rush to fill the silence. I just looked at her and let the question settle between us like cold air. Why is my future always the sacrifice for your mistakes? I didn't say it out loud yet, but I would, soon. Lena stood in my living room like she owned it, like she'd been here 100 times. She hadn't. In fact, it was the opposite. She never came over unless she needed something I could hand over, sign, or fix. Her eyes flicked across the room, taking in the thrift store couch, the tiny fake tree with exactly 2 gifts underneath. Both were for me, bought by me. She frowned, like the place offended her. This is minimalist, she said, voice thin. Translation. You live like a broke nun. I didn't bother responding. She wrapped her arms around herself dramatically. Carrie, seriously, I'm drowning. I have vendors calling me nonstop. The lease, the credit cards. I have a payroll. People rely on me. You told me you didn't have employees, I said calmly. She winced. Contractors, same thing. No, I replied, it isn't. Her jaw tightened. Behind her eyes, I saw the calculation begin. The same routine she'd used for years. Step 1, look wounded. Step 2, guilt trip. Step 3, escalate. Carrie, she whispered, I came to you because I trust you. I almost laughed. I used to think that line was a compliment. Now I understood it meant, you're easy. She paced my tiny apartment like she was inspecting a crime scene. The back of her hand brushed the counter, the arm of the couch, the window latch. Every touch rehearsed, part of her performance. Just help me cover January, she continued. It's only $80,000. That's nothing if you use your 401k, or get a personal loan, or refinance something. You're good at the grown-up stuff. I stared at her, silent, letting the absurdity hang in the air. In her mind, my entire financial future was negotiable, but her manicure was not. She sensed the shift in my silence and amped up the theatrics. You know how much pressure I'm under? She cried, voice cracking. Mom and Dad are counting on me. I'm the one who keeps things afloat around here. My eyebrow lifted before I could stop it. You pay their bills? Her mouth opened, closed. I keep the energy up. Ah, yes. The sacred family contribution of vibes to... She rubbed her forehead. Look, I miscalculated. A few contracts got delayed. Investors ghosted me because it's the holidays. It's not my fault. They said they were interested. Interested isn't invested, I said. She ignored that. If I can cover January, I'm fine. $80,000 is January? I asked. She hesitated. Her silence was the answer. I inhaled slowly, feeling something inside me steady, like a boat anchor dropping into place. Lena, I said quietly, I'm not helping you. Her head snapped up. What? I'm not giving you $80,000. Her face twisted. Don't be dramatic. I'm not. And I wasn't. For the first time in our lives, she was the dramatic one. Lena let out a short, sharp laugh. Mom said you'd cave. There it was, the word cave. She thought my yes was hers by default. I stood, walked into the kitchen, poured a glass of water I didn't need, then walked back. My hands didn't shake. I had expected them to, but they were steady. Steady in a way that felt foreign and powerful. Carrie, she said, this is life or death for my business. For your business, I corrected, not for my future. She blinked rapidly, her breathing uneven. Why are you being cruel? I'm not cruel, I said. I'm clear. Her face reddened. After everything I've done for this family. I held up a hand. What exactly have you done? She froze. I took a breath, surprised by how calm my voice sounded. Tell me what you've done that makes me owe you $80,000. She floundered. I keep Mom happy and Dad... Dad is exhausted, I said softly. He's been exhausted for years. She stumbled backward like the truth had weight. You're unbelievable. I didn't react. She paced again, faster and messier now. You know what? You're selfish. That's what you are. Selfish. I let her words drift past me like smoke. My brain replayed the years. When she was 21, she bought a BMW with a warranty made of fairy dust and prayer. She convinced me to co-sign just for a year. She missed 3 payments. I paid $2,800 so the car wouldn't be repossessed in front of Mom's house. When she was 24, she opened a juice bar in a city with 9 months of winter. I put in $5,000 because we're sisters. It closed after 11 months. The chalkboard menus now sit in Mom's garage under a sewing project she'll never finish. When she was 27, she pivoted to digital marketing. I built her a website after work for free. I paid the domain for 3 years because she couldn't figure out auto-renew. The site still says, grand opening soon. When she started her consulting agency, she listed my number as her backup contact temporarily. Temporary turned into 2 years of 2 a.m. verification texts. Every memory was a receipt. Every receipt had my name on it. She didn't remember any of that, but my bank account did. Carrie, she said, voice cracking like thin glass, don't abandon me. I exhaled, not in anger, not in pity, in release. I'm not abandoning you, I said. I'm giving you responsibility back. Her face twisted. She didn't understand. She wasn't ready to. I stepped closer, meeting her eyes. This isn't punishment. It's closure. She shook her head furiously. You're insane. You're actually insane. I stepped back and let the words fall where they may. I'm not your safety net anymore. She stared at me, chest heaving. Then her expression hardened. The softness vanished. The desperation crystallized into cold, sharp resentment. You'll regret this, she whispered. Maybe, I said, but not today. She grabbed her purse, swung it over her shoulder, and stormed toward the door. Before leaving, she turned back, eyes blazing, voice low and venomous. Mom is going to hear about this. I have no doubt, I replied. The door slammed so hard it rattled the picture frame on the wall. A cheap print of a lighthouse I bought at a thrift shop because it made me feel steady. The quiet afterward was so complete it rang. I moved through my apartment slowly, touching the back of the couch, the counter, the tree, grounding myself in the life I had built. No footsteps, no guilt dripping from the walls, no emergencies that belonged to someone else. Just me, and the beginning of something I hadn't felt in decades. Freedom that was small, quiet, and terrifying. The next morning, my phone vibrated so violently it fell off the nightstand. 15 missed calls, 11 texts, all from Mom. I didn't even unlock the screen. By noon, the voicemail icon appeared. Then another, and another. I put the phone face down on the table, made scrambled eggs, and ate them standing up, barefoot, in the quiet of my own kitchen. The silence felt different now, heavier, but in a way that made my lungs feel wide and honest. At 3 p.m., the knocking started. Not a polite knock, a parent knock. 3 sharp bangs that said, "I am your mother. Open this door." I opened it a crack. Mom stood there in her long winter coat, hair perfectly curled despite the humidity, mascara already preparing to run. She pushed past me without asking, scanning my apartment like she was about to conduct an inspection. "Carrie Clenard," she said, spinning around dramatically. "What have you done?" "I'm not sure," I replied. "Why don't you tell me?" She threw her hands up. "Your sister is in shambles. She says you humiliated her. She says you don't care whether she lives or dies." I leaned against the counter, arms crossed. I told her no. That's it. Mom gasped like I'd confessed to a felony. "You told her no? On purpose?" "Yes." Her jaw dropped. "Oh my God, you have changed." She said it the same way someone might say, "You've murdered someone." I didn't respond. She placed a hand over her heart. "Lena needs you, Carrie. We all do. Your father and I can't cover $80,000. Do you want us to lose the house?" "You wouldn't lose the house," I said. "You don't know that," she snapped. "Yes," I replied, "I do. Because I've seen the mortgage statements. I know the interest rate. I know what the utilities cost. I've been paying your internet bill for 2 years. Her mouth twitched. "Well, yes, but that's different." "How?" "Because you're good with money," she said, like it was a biological trait I should be proud to weaponize. I sighed. "Mom, I'm done being the family ATM." She blinked. "You're being ridiculous." "I'm not." "You're being cold." "No." "You're being selfish." I straightened. There it was. The word she saved for special occasions. "Mom," I said softly, "selfish would have been saying no 10 years ago. I've said yes hundreds of times, thousands of dollars, 2 a.m., calls, co-signing, fixing, paying, covering, quietly absorbing every consequence of Lena's choices." Mom's chin trembled. "Family helps each other." "I agree," I said, "but in our family, only one person ever helps, and it's me." She marched across the room, her heels clicking like accusations. "You don't get it. Lena is fragile." "No," I said. "Lena is protected. That's different." Her eyes narrowed. "You've turned into a completely different person." "Maybe I've turned into myself," I said. She pointed a shaking finger. "Your father will hear about this. He'll be heartbroken." "Dad has been heartbroken for years," I said quietly. "He's just too tired to show it." Her breath hitched. For a moment, the room stilled. Then she switched tactics, the oldest one in her playbook. Soft voice, trembling hands. "Carrie, sweetheart, if your father dies, how will we survive?" I closed my eyes for a moment. This was the nuclear button, the emotional sledgehammer, her favorite one. When I looked at her again, I felt that strange new steadiness settle in my bones. "You'll budget," I said. "You'll downsize. You'll stop pretending Christmas needs 6 credit cards. You'll live within reality." She reeled back like I'd slapped her. "Who are you?" she whispered. "Me," I said, finally. Something inside her broke, not loudly, no shatter, no crash, just a soft collapse behind her eyes, a recognition she couldn't spin. She grabbed her purse sharply. "I can't be here." "I know." She stormed toward the door. Just before leaving, she turned, mascara now streaking like war paint. "You'll regret this, Carrie. You've divided this family." "I'm not dividing it," I said. "I'm stepping out of the role you kept me in." Her lip trembled. "Your sister is devastated. She's responsible for her own life." Mom stared at me, as if expecting me to take the words back. I didn't. She left. The door shut softly this time, a quiet resignation rather than a slammed protest. The silence that followed felt different again, deeper, like the absence of a generator that had run so long I forgot its noise wasn't natural. The week became numbers. 23 missed calls, 17 texts from Lena, 8 from Mom, 4 from Dad, 3 guilt-ridden voicemails, $80,000 not paid, $62 spent on groceries, $29 for a bus fare I didn't need, but took anyway because walking felt too exposed. I changed my passwords, removed Lena's backup number, canceled her access, closed every tiny digital door she had wedged her foot into over the years. Each click felt like peeling off another hook she'd planted in me. My apartment grew quieter, but not lonely. Just mine. Day 5, Dad texted, "Call your mother when you can, she's upset." I typed and deleted a dozen replies. Finally, I sent one sentence. "I love you both, but I'm not going back to how things were." No reply. On day 7, I woke up before my alarm. No tension in my shoulders, no dread in my chest. Just a strange, delicate peace. It felt like my first real breath in years. And the most unexpected part? The world didn't end. No lightning, no punishment, no cosmic backlash. Just a woman, me, standing in her tiny apartment, finally free of the debts she never owed. It was terrifying. It was exhilarating. It was mine.